Why your tendons never heal, the 36-hour myth. Hello everyone, I am Dr. David. In my geriatric clinic, I don't just see 80 or 90-year-olds with joint pain. Lately, I have been seeing a paradox. 25-year-old young men with bulging biceps walking in with elbows that are worn out, stiff, and making clicking sounds no different from a rusty old bicycle. You often delude yourselves with the mantra. Missing one session means losing muscle, just keep training. It will stop hurting in 36 hours. That is how you turn a minor tweak into a lifelong injury. You can lie to your brain, you can lie to your coach, but you can never lie to biology. The elbow that used to help you do pull-ups effortlessly is now on strike, even when you just want to open a jar of jam. Why? Today, I will expose the truth about tendons, those silent cables that endure your oversized ego in the gym. Before we dive into the miraculous structure and the biological limits you are violating, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Why? Because my goal is not just to help you get big, but to ensure you can still hold your own cup of coffee at age 80 without help. Leave a comment right now. Which part of your body makes a clicking sound every time you move? We will anatomize it right in this video. Now, let's get to work. A disastrous confusion. What are you training for? In the world of gym brothers, everything revolves around muscle. But in the world of medicine, muscles are just the engine, while tendons are the transmission system. Many of you are making a disastrous mistake by confusing three fundamental concepts. Ligaments. Imagine these as ropes tying two ends of bone together. Their sole duty is to keep the joint stable. They don't help you lift weights. They keep you from falling apart into pieces. Fascia. This is the body's plastic wrap. It connects muscle groups together, creating smoothness in movement. Tendons. This is our main character. Tendons are the bridge between muscle and bone. Remember, when a muscle contracts, it creates force. That force does not naturally travel to the bone. It must pass through the tendon. Tendons are the steel cables responsible for pulling your bones to move. Without tendons, your muscles are just useless pieces of meat jiggling under the skin. The inception principle. The world inside the cable. Why are tendons strong enough to withstand hundreds of kilograms when you deadlift? It is thanks to the Russian doll structure, or what I call the inception principle. Tendons are primarily composed of collagen fibers, but they are not arranged randomly. Inside the tendon are large fiber bundles. Inside the large bundles are smaller bundles. Inside those small bundles are microscopic fibers. And finally, deep inside are collagen molecules tightly braided together. It is like a heavy-duty rope for a ship. The deeper you look, the more you see it is braided from millions of smaller strands. This sophistication gives tendons ultimate tensile strength. Parallel structure. Army versus junkyard. When you are healthy, the collagen fibers in the tendon line up straight, parallel, and extremely disciplined like an elite army. This parallel structure is what creates strength. However, when you are injured due to overloading, this structure collapses. Instead of lining up, new collagen fibers are created by the body in a rush to patch the error. They grow overlapping and intertwined in a mess, like a pile of trash or a ball of yarn scratched by a cat. The result? Your tendon looks thicker, swollen, but it becomes significantly weaker because the fibers no longer coordinate force in a single direction. That is why your elbow stings even though it feels bigger than usual. The spring mechanism. The secret of top athletes' tendons are not just static cables. They are also a spring. When you run, jump, or perform the lowering phase of a lift, eccentric, your tendons stretch and contract to store energy. When you push up or jump, it releases that energy. This system is extremely efficient until you break it through ignorance. Tendons are designed to handle repetitive loading, but they have a biological tolerance threshold that you frequently cross without knowing. Biological saturation. The painful truth about 10 minutes. This is the part every gym bro needs to take to heart. Studies on tendon cell biology have shown a heartbreaking truth. After about 10 minutes of continuous loading, your tendon cells stop receiving signals to get stronger. Tendon cells, tenocytes, are very sensitive to mechanical pressure. In the first 10 minutes, they understand, the owner needs strength, we must synthesize more collagen. but after that they become deaf to the stimuli. The story of Free Solo and Taipei 101. Imagine you are climbing Taipei 101 barehanded like Alex Honnold. You think that climbing for 2 hours will make your tendons as strong as steel? The truth: your tendons reached peak benefit at the 3rd floor, about the first 10 minutes. The consequence: from the 4th floor to the 101st, your tendons do not get any stronger. They are simply accumulating micro-tears. Every moment you try to push more pre-workout, after the tendons are saturated, you are actually eroding your cables. You are not building strength. You are preparing for a classic tendon rupture. Why are you not special? Many of you say, but I see professional athletes training all day? Mistake. They train with extremely strict load management. You, on the other hand, go to the park or gym and perform a movement with poor technique for 60 minutes with a weight exceeding your limit. The click in your elbow is the alarm bell that collagen fibers are starting to break and shift. Do not wake up when it is too late. Tendons do not recover as fast as muscles because they have very few blood vessels. Blood carries nutrients to muscles like a highway, but to tendons it is just a secluded country road. Now you understand why your elbow is protesting, right? You are using a biological structure that requires delicacy to confront a brutal training style. But do not worry, I will show you how to clean up the collagen junkyard and turn it back into parallel ranks. We will talk about the eccentric method, the final lifeline for ruined tendons, and why icing is sometimes a bad idea. Acute inflammation. Tendinitis, the body siren. Many people fear the word inflammation. But as a doctor, I tell you, inflammation is a good friend, though a hot-tempered one. When you have just finished an excessive pull-up session and the next morning your elbow is red, swollen, and painful, that is tendinitis. At this moment, your body is turning on emergency repair mode. It brings blood, nutrients, and repair cells to the area. The pain is a natural barrier to force you to stop. If you rest at this moment, congratulations, you have saved the situation. Chronic tendon pathology. Tendinopathy. When the junkyard takes shape, tragedy begins when you ignore that friend called inflammation. You take a painkiller, apply a patch, and go back to training. After a few months, the pain is no longer sharp but dull and dry. Welcome to tendinopathy. At this point, the inflammation is gone, but your tendon has degenerated. The collagen fibers, instead of being parallel, are now intertwined and messy, losing elasticity. It is like a rope rotting from the inside. You cannot cure tendinopathy with anti-inflammatory drugs because, essentially, there is no more inflammation to fight. Nature's schedule. Breaking the 36-hour myth. It truly drives me crazy to hear someone say a tendon will recover in 36 hours. Listen, initial repair phase. Takes a few days for cells to clean up debris. Structural remodeling phase. Full healing takes from 6 weeks to 6 months, even a year if it has become chronic. Your tendon does not care if you have a beach vacation next month or a tournament next week. It operates according to the speed of biology, not the speed of personal desire. In geriatrics, we know that the older you get, the longer this takes. But even if you are 20, you cannot force a tree to grow faster by pulling on its tip. Eccentric training. The key to reestablishing order. So how do you turn the collagen junkyard back into a parallel army? The answer is eccentric, the muscle lengthening phase under load. Take the bicep curl as an example. The phase where you curl the weight up is concentric. The phase where you lower the weight slowly and with control is eccentric. Why is it effective? When you stretch a tendon under a certain pressure, it creates a mechanical tension that forces new collagen fibers to grow in the direction of that tension. It is like using a comb to straighten out messy hair. Eccentric training is the act of combing collagen. Why is complete rest a mistake? The biggest mistake many people make is lying still on the sofa when a tendon hurts. In modern medicine, we call this toxic laziness. Tendons need mechanical pressure to know which direction to regenerate. If you do not move, collagen fibers will grow haphazardly and messily. The secret is move below the pain threshold. You must train, but train light and controlled to remind the tendon to work. Massage and stretching. Breaking scar tissue. Physical impact like deep massage or gentle stretching plays a role in breaking down adhesions. When a tendon is injured, scar tissue easily sticks to surrounding structures, losing smoothness. Think of massage as ironing out the wrinkles on your tendon fibers. The calisthenics philosophy: don't skip steps. Most of you break your tendons because you want to do a muscle up before you can even do 10 proper pull-ups. In calisthenics, we respect progressions. You do not practice the hardest move. You practice an easier variation of it to give the tendon time to thicken. Tendons adapt 3 to 4 times slower than muscles. By the time your muscles are ready for 100 kilograms, your tendons might still be at the 50 kilograms level. Do not let your muscles trick your tendons into death. Young people, do not let your ego write a check that your body cannot afford to cash. You might be proud of a record lift today, but is it worth it if 10 years later you cannot put on a shirt because your shoulder is stiff and painful? When to see an expert. I am your doctor today, but I do not replace an ultrasound or an MRI. If the pain wakes you up in the middle of the night, the joint shows signs of swelling or bruising for no apparent reason. You hear a pop, accompanied by a loss of mobility. Go see an orthopedic doctor immediately. Do not go on YouTube to find exercises then. You might have completely ruptured the tendon. Respecting the recovery process is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of intelligence. If you do it right, you will be the 70-year-old who can still do pull-ups at the park, instead of sitting on the sofa with an ice pack and memories of a short-lived golden age. Thank you for patiently watching until this moment. If this video helped you realize how poorly you have been treating your tendons, share it with your training partner, the one who always grimaces when lowering the weight. Don't forget to click the link in the description to receive materials on eccentric exercises and scientifically standard progression paths for each tendon area. Remember, strong tendons, bright life. See you in the next deep dive videos. Goodbye everyone. I am Dr. David.